Hello, and welcome to the Black Dice Society, Episode 8. Nahara and Uriah, you all have been escorted along with Finn to what was once the merchant quarter of Leskar, which is now the home of the Talons, ostensibly occupying force of Lakar and also protectors against the oncoming zombie hordes. You all have been led to one of the nicest homes in the place. It is a tall, three-story, brownstone-esque home that has been heavily fortified along the base, with metal plates over the windows and spikes that would make it very difficult to breach if anything were to make it this far in. And as you all have made it inside, as Finn goes to secure the area and double check to make sure nothing's hiding in the closets or in the attic, as has happened to you once before, the two of you have a moment to reconnect and talk about recent events.
Well, here we are.
Yes. Um, I didn't I didn't get the chance to fully tell you what had happened earlier because
Yes,
of
yes,
ears
Try.
and eyes.
Yes. Herr Horstman has both of those things.
But your king, I met with him.
With Aslan Rex,
Yes.
he.
I don't know what I didn't know why he wanted to see me, but I did meet with him.
When you say you met with him, I assume it's something similar to my own experience, in that I found myself whisked away, as it were.
Yes. Yes, it was exactly that. I'm not sure exactly where I was, as though it seemed very dreamlike, but I, he told me some things about me. He knew things
Yes,
about my life that
that
even
is,
I can't remember.
that is unsurprising. The breadth of Aslan Rex's knowledge is wide indeed. And if he has some purpose in mind for you, well, perhaps it's best that we be evermore on our guard. As I mentioned, my liege has kept my nation safe for many years, but he is not exactly benevolent.
I I wasn't sure that I had so much of a choice, though. You see, he mentioned another ruler, a man named Strahd, that had
Strahd von Zarovich?
must be.
I have a feeling of being more than a little over our heads.
Well, you see, he said that he had an interest in me, and I couldn't imagine that it would.
Strahd von Zarovich has an interest in you?
Shh! I don't.
This man
I
you
don't.
speak of, he's the ruler of Barovia and much feared. I know that it seems most every leader we encounter is much feared, but his power, it is said, rivals that of Aslan. Perhaps, and I would not dare speak this within the confines of Darkon, but perhaps even exceeds it.
Well, whatever it is that this Strahd wants with me, your king had offered his protection,
I see.
but I had to pledge to help him or to aid him.
Oh, I I hope you understand that this was not a bargain to be entered into lightly.
It didn't seem that way, but Uriah, I saw how he saved you. And
Yes.
I felt as though I somehow was indebted.
That is very kind of you to say. I hope that a feeling of loyalty to me has not led you down a very dark path, but if you must go down it, I will walk it with you.
Thank you. But perhaps if I do help him, that maybe one day I will be able to recall my life. That is what it was alluded to, at least.
As I say, Aslan's power is virtually unmatched, and his knowledge and wisdom the same. If anyone could help you, surely some of his means would be able to.
And you trust him?
I didn't say that. I trust Aslan to seek his own ends, and often those he employs are merely seen as instruments or disposable tools. That is what I mean by being on our guard.
Right. But you do think, regardless of the type of man he may be, that he is at least a man of his word?
I like to think so. I am sworn to him as I am sworn to Darkon. Missing or not, he is still our king. And now it seems you have bound yourself to him as well.
I suppose being true to your word is as best as I could hope for in a place like this.
Perhaps.
While you all are talking, Nahara, you hear a familiar whisper in your mind. Be on your guard. The drow returns.
Could I think back to him, or do I have to say this out
Yes.
loud?
You can reply to Stuart psychically.
Why should I be on my guard about Fen?
You speak of secret things. I assume you did not want to be overheard.
No, of course not, but why Fen in particular?
It is not her in particular. I distrust the living, and she's only half dead.
Are you all right, Nahara? You look very far away there for a moment.
So I just got lost in thought.
That does go on quite a bit around these parts, but
And you do hear the very gentle creaking of the stairs as Finn approaches. Her footfalls are light as always, but this house is very old.
up here, Fen.
Oh, hi, Uriah, Nahara. You two don't seem all right.
A bit of Fen, do you mind if I ask you a question?
Never. You can always ask me anything.
Well, you're quite well travelled, of course, moving as you did with the carnival. But, did your travels ever bring you to Barovia? Do you know anything of Strahd von Zarovich?
I've heard the name, yes. His name is whispered among some of us. Us meaning the dump here.
Yes. His rivalry and hatred with my king is somewhat legendary.
Yes, Yes, it is. Why would you bring him up, though?
You know, Nahara?
Oh, mm, mm, I had just. I thought I heard his name in passing.
So Fen leans in to both of them. No one mentions Strahd von Zarovich just in passing. What's going on?
All right, Nahara, I believe if anyone we can trust Fen. I certainly do.
Right? Finn, this Strahd, for some reason or not, for reasons I'm not very sure, he is looking for me.
By you?
I don't know.
Well, that's not good.
Why
Did
is it
he?
not good?
No.
No, well, he's quite powerful and a Dark Lord, if my learnings are correct.
A Dark Lord?
Well, he's like Aslan. He holds a lot of power.
Oh, yes, that can certainly be said of Aslan Rex.
Am I in danger?
Likely.
Well, I will remind you that we're in much more immediate danger, about to be completely overrun by an unstoppable horde of the undead.
Yeah, I mean, but maybe, well, no, we can't reason with them. Maybe I could reason with them. Maybe, I don't know. But this is concerning, Nahara. It makes me wonder if any of your past you can't remember was tied to Barovia.
I don't know.
In any case, I suspect negotiations with the onrushing tide of skeletons and zombies is doomed to fail. But in the meantime, we do have some diplomacy to attend to. We are a diplomatic mission, after all, at least as far as the Falkovnians know.
We do need to see if our friends are in danger.
Yes, they were attempting to follow the, well, what appears to be an insurgent force within the Talons. Do we have any way of reaching them, or must we go out and look? I don't know if it would be good to be wandering the streets. They didn't leave a guard for us, thankfully.
Oh, could ask. You're the diplomat.
I could get word to Valentine if necessary. That
All
was
right.
only in Nahara's head, of course.
I do say all right out loud.
We didn't
Sorry?
agree to anything. All right, what, Nahara?
All right. We should figure out a plan.
You hear a knock on the door. Boom, 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 boom. Entschuldigung, Entschuldigung. Der Diplomat.
Ja, hallo, danke, meine Herr.
When the door opens, you see one of the Talons, one that you've not seen before. He's an aging man with salt and pepper hair, covered in scars. I've been led to believe you are also, you have some talent with the healing, yeah?
Oh, yes, are my abilities needed?
Achtung, ja. We have not received word from Vladeska Draukov yet, but perhaps you might come with me to look into an issue. There seems to be a plague moving through one of the lower wards, and we cannot risk anything here on the eve of battle.
Yes, of course. Yes, I will certainly endeavor to do what I can. Shall my companions accompany us?
Ja, sehr gut. We will escort you through, make sure that you are not hindered in any way. We were told there are 6 of you. Sechs?
Yes, I sent my bodyguards down to the market to see if there was any buns. I love buns.
Yeah. I will send someone to recover them for you. We would not want you to walk without your full retinue. You are of course safe under the might of the talons, but I understand you must have your protocols if we have ours. Yeah. Rest for a moment. I will make sure that they are brought back, and then we will set out. Yeah.
Of course. You're very,
Yeah.
very, very kind and helpful of you.
Ah, sehr gut. And he closes the door.
Buns?
It was the only food I could think of. I was going to say apples, but I don't know if they had much fresh fruit around here, and so buns was the most logical thing. Look, my cover story was fine. Look, we need to find the others before the Talons do.
Right.
Or do we just let them get rounded up? Who knows what they might get caught doing?
Well, if we're not here when the Talons show up and they're not where the Talons are when they go to look for them, that's going to be worse, isn't it?
Yes, all right, so we'll sit tight. Do we have any way of getting word to them?
Oh, I'm sure there's a way that... I'm sure they're fine, and I will think to Stuart, so could you just please let me know via Valentine if they're all right?
I'll see what I can do. And with that, hello and welcome to Black Dice Society. This is episode 8. For here, the lover and killer are mingled. As always, this is a Ravenloft stream, which means it is a horror stream, and as such, you may encounter content in this game that does not come up in other games of D&D, some of which may be frightening, hopefully. Some of it may be troubling, hopefully not. We, of course, have discussed with the cast everyone's lines and veils. We have a system of safety tools in place that if we get into some content that is too disturbing, they can let me know. We will shift gears. So if for some reason we're ever mid-scene and everything just changes abruptly, you'll know why. Ravenloft is near and dear to my heart. I think horror gaming is fantastic, especially now that the book is out and you can enjoy Van Richten's Guide to Ravenloft at your own table. I will just say now, especially since it's only been out a couple of days, not everyone has gotten it, not everyone has had a chance to read it. Please do not spoil in chat what it is that is taking place here, because some of these things you can read and figure out now. Some of them are hopefully still going to be a surprise. With that in mind, let us meet our wonderful cast here. And this time I will start at the bottom and go back around the horn with our producer in residence, Becca.
Hello, it is I. Hello everyone, I'm Becca Scott. You can find me at the Becca Scott. My pronouns are she, her, and here I play Tatiana. Air Genasi is why I'm blue. Don't make comments about it. It's fine. And also Barbarian. I will slay everyone and everything, and it is very fun, but I will also protect my friends. And that is me.
I deeply suspect you're about to have a chance to do both.
I am so excited.
The freshly shorn DJ.
Oh, hi. I'm DJ. Yes, I'm freshly shorn. I got my first haircut since the pandemic. I'm kind of excited about it. Sorry, but appreciate you. I play Desmond, human ranger Lycan, who just enjoys doing all the things. And, you know, he's a little bit of an angry boy. That's just part of life. He does what he does. But his pronouns are he, him, as are mine. You guys are awesome. Thanks for coming to hang out with us in the mist.
Sage.
Hello, I am Sage Ryan. I go by Not Sage everywhere on the internet, but tonight I am Valentine. Valentine was once a lively half-elf, but is a reborn aberrant mind sorcerer now.
And the best of us, like objectively.
Well intended. For some.
Tanya.
Hello, I am Fen, your drow, dump, your blood hunter. Both Fen's pronouns and mine are she, her.
Excellent. Mark.
I'm Mark Muir, pronouns he, him, and this is my favorite Dungeons & Dragons game on the Citadel. I'll be playing Brother Uriah. Brother Uriah is a cleric of the grave and a worshipper of Ezra, Lady of the Mists.
And Nora?
Hello, I'm Nora Ibrahim. You can find me at Noralogical on all the things. And tonight I am playing Nahara. Nahara was a Azamar warlock, but now she is an undead reborn Azamar warlock.
It's a lot of adjectives.
A lot.
It's hard.
You
There's
could just
so
say
many.
barbarian. It's better.
You know
would be
what?
easier.
It would be. Yes, give me an axe. I'll do that for next time.
It's my ex. You cannot have my ex.
That's
Also,
Not
because
yours,
I
of course
forgot
not.
in my intro, both Valentine and I both use she, her pronouns.
As do
excellent. Also, that's your secret, Tatiana. Can't be reborn if you don't die. Last, hopefully not least, I'm B. Dave Walters. You might have seen me today in the All Things Dritz video with R.A. Salvatore, which was a fantastic thing. Make sure you check that out, especially if you haven't seen the Sleep Sound animated short with Benedict Cumberbatch. It was kind of incredible. Was a joy to get to film. Also, the Into the Motherlands Kickstarter, which several of us are collaborating on and contributing to, is up now. It's doing very well. Thank you if you've supported it. If you haven't, maybe give it a look. We'd appreciate your support. As I already said, Van Richten's Guide out now. Get it. This is my favorite book, and I'm not saying that because they told me to. They didn't. This is really fantastic. As always, thank you to Die Hard Dice. Custom sets for all of our characters were available. A number of them are sold out now, but you can still get most of them right now at dieharddice.com. Use code BDS to get 10% off your order and all kinds of other dope stuff there. Our TeePublic store is live. Shirts, bags, mugs, masks, all kinds of swag to help you represent out in the streets for the Black Dice Society. We see you. We appreciate you. Hopefully that link is going up in chat right now. Secret Lab chairs. I realize my logo is covered up by my cloak right now, but I love my Secret Lab chair. I spend more time here than anywhere else than the bed. It's like rolling around on the couch all the time, especially if you're a bigger person like me. Secret Labs, really fantastic. Idle Champions, there is a code. You can put exclam code to get it out of chat there, which should be newly updated. Full disclosure, I tried to be ahead of the game and order a bunch of them at once, which, while supposedly making things more efficient, I guarantee you I will mess it up at some point, but I think today it's all good. Exclam code. Last but certainly not least, we have a Patreon. You can get early access to our podcast, our exclusive weekly show. I'm posting a new DM tips video today. If you'd like to know what exactly happened between Nahara and King Aslan Rex, all of that is up there at patreon.com/The Black Dice Society. And also, we have a Discord. You can join us there. Please like, comment, share on all of these videos. Everything people always ask you to do. It really does matter. It really does help. It really does help the algorithm. Thank you so very much. And with that, on with our story. Valentine, as you are standing here in the courtyard with Freya of the Talons, watching Tatiana and Desmond be ushered past the guards to come in here to the governor's section of Lescar. Give me a perception check, if you would.
Muted.
Yes, of course I prepared my dice. Oh, that's a natural one.
You've successfully rolled to disbelieve, no problem. As you stand
These are
there,
virtual dice.
as you stand there and you see Freya next to you, she just says, I thought we'd discussed that I would come to you later. I did not expect for you to all follow me now. You are muted again, ma'am.
I just keep pressing the wrong button and I'm muting myself. I was unmuted before.
That's it. We've rolled a 1 for perception and a 1 for performance.
Successfully disoriented
That's
myself.
it.
We're not terribly good at taking direction.
Yeah. We might have to put on a little bit of the how you say the performance to make this go properly. Yeah.
I love a performance. What kind?
I would say the violence, but I feel like the blue woman will take it too far, and my brothers and sisters will jump in and execute her.
I mean, I see that going differently, but yes, she would take it too far.
Yes, just follow my lead. Yeah.
Sure.
Tatiana and Desmond, as you all approach, you see Freya. Again, she is a tall, statuesque warrior. She bears many scars in heavy lines around her eyes from someone who has seen entirely too much, even though she's probably not much older than you all are. And she stands there and rests her hands on the hilts of her 2 swords and says, she doesn't yell, but elevates her voice slightly and is like, I told you I do not have time for the practice training now. We are getting ready for the siege.
I do not accept that answer. There is only one time to train. It is before battle, and now is time before battle.
Since you are volunteering to help in the defense, then yes, perhaps I will take you and we will station you somewhere. Would you rather be on the walls where the zombies will come over the top? Would you like to be on the streets where you must defend the common people if we are breached?
I do not take a position. I go where I am most needed, and that is defending my comrades you see here. I cannot be stationed.
She turns and looks at you, Desmond, and she says, I see in your face that you have commanded troops before, yeah?
Yes.
You see, Lakar, we have the high walls outside. We also have the interior walls of all of the wards. We have guards, archers up, and the pikemen to make sure that the undead cannot scale over. We have the boiling oil that we can pour out as well. But on occasion, it is impossible to avoid. The undead do get inside the city. And that is why the people are all armed and prepared to fight street to street if necessary. Where would you like to be? If the blue woman in her bravery will be anywhere, but a soldier who is everywhere is as good as a soldier who is nowhere.
It's a good question. Although, I do like her idea of being anywhere. When you consider the fact that the enemies come from anywhere, nowhere might just be a good option.
Fine. Come, I will show you a place where perhaps you will have the view of the wall and the streets, and you might be of some use.
Okay, sounds good.
And she turns and looks at you, Valentine, and she says, you also are the diplomat. You also speak for Darkon?
In a sense.
Then come. Yes, you 3 will come with me now. And she turns and she just sort of walks in a different direction. As you can see, Bjorn Horseman, and the other Talons are moving into what is unquestionably the governor's mansion, where Vladeska Drakov is. She very much walks a different direction.
Is wires crossed, Freya? You accept apology?
She just sort of under her breath, she goes, "Yeah, I appreciate the, how you say, the enthusiasm. It's good. Yeah, sehr gut."
Okay.
I also have a
Val-
question.
Yes.
Where, asking Freya, and is, where do you find the most concentration of the zombies?
It is never the same twice. They do not attack with the tactics as such, but sometimes they all come and they come from a single side and they come all at once. Other times it's a trickle over several nights. Once they come out of Zavata, that was a terrible time. Many lives were lost that time.
But you said they never come to the same place twice.
But the city there only has 4 sides, and as far as I know, they do not fly. Oh,
So you've experienced
God
this
be
4
merciful.
times, and that's it.
I lose track of how many times.
And that
Too
is
many
where-
times.
That's where I'm asking. Where was the last attack from?
The last attack was 3 waves, and they staggered. They come from the north, then the east, then the west.
But nothing from the south.
Not last time, nein.
That's where we should be.
Sehr gut. You have the keen tactical eye, I think. And as she walks and you all sort of move between a couple of buildings, she stops and she turns around and looks at you. And she says, "There is not much time. I do not know if there is time to do anything to stop Radeska Drakov before the next wave. We may have to endure and get through. I am willing to introduce you to the, how you say, alternative leadership."
That is why we come. We do not trust these people. Why? Why do these zombies keep coming?
I do not know. It is terrible, and we cannot escape. Even if you go, as you get to the mist, the zombies, they are always there. They come out on the new moon, but they are always in the mist.
I feel that someone must be sending them, and for this reason we are fighting the wrong fight. I will kill whoever sends the zombies, not each zombie.
I like this enthusiasm. Yeah, sehr gut.
This alternative leadership,
Yeah,
you could get us to them when?
now.
I think that's a great idea.
Yeah, it's Herr Hagen. He is very brave, very smart as well.
Interesting.
Valentine, at that exact second, you hear in your head, "Oh, I think you missed something. That's okay. We'll come back to it later. Nahara wants to know if you're okay. Isn't that sweet?"
How cute. Yes, certainly. We're fine if you would like to let her know. What did I miss?
I'll show you in a moment. Just quickly, they're apparently being escorted to assist with a plague. Sounds dreadful.
It does. Are they taking them far?
I will monitor the situation and keep you apprised.
If they start to get far from the city, please let me know.
Absolutely. Oh, by the way, if you would just turn your head just slightly to the left and look up, 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 up. Let me help you. And you actually feel your head move a little more, Valentine, and up a little more.
That's a
And-
first, and I don't like it.
What? Oh, it's just apologies. I just wanted to make sure we were on the same page. Look up there next to the tower by the boiling oil. And as Tregram talks you through it, you do see one of those tall robed figures up on the wall in the tower next to the boiling oil.
I would like to try and message.
They are out of your messaging range.
I will just make direct eye contact as much as possible. Do they seem to be looking and noticing?
You do see the hood just turn in your direction. And like a hand comes up and just salutes slightly and goes down.
I would like to just a little, let a little bit of the kind of slimy tentacle goo that comes out of my eyes just pour down a smidge, and then kind of suck them back up.
Yes. You know, there will be unchecked chaos here, but it still might be advantageous for us.
In what way?
I realize that you and I are due for a heart-to-heart or a whatever-to-whatever, because I don't think either of us really rely on hearts, to help you understand your true place in the scope of all of this. But if something should happen and Vladeska Drakov is toppled, well, there might be a vacuum of leadership that we might be able to exploit.
What about the secondary leadership that already exists?
Well, it doesn't really matter who the head is, it matters who the neck is, right?
I find that a little offensive.
Oh, I suppose contextually that might not have been as comforting as I thought it was. Be that as it may, I trust you to do what you always do, Valentine. You have our infinite confidence.
Just keep walking.
Meanwhile, Uriah, Nahara, and Finn, after a few moments, you hear a knock on the door again, and that same man is there. He says, Entschuldigung, we were not able to locate your bodyguards. We know that a detachment of the Talons recently entered the palace. Perhaps they were there and have been taken for an audience with Vladeska Drakov. We would not be able to interrupt where that's the case.
Yes. Best not to bother them. I'm sure everything's fine. You mentioned a plague.
Yeah. The common people, they have been complaining about this. I can take you to where it might be.
Yes, of course. I'm willing to help where I can, though it may be more practical assistance than magical. My skills are not quite so advanced in that arena.
I understand you are the diplomat, and yeah, it's I too. I find the magic is unreliable. There's some things, and he just like taps on the hilt of his sword, always there when you need them.
Yes.
Might
You
I?
want to go walking straight into a plague?
Well, if there are people that need help, then
And
yes.
you're human. Do you really want to plague Uriah? Do you?
I don't, but I don't think that innocents should have to suffer for it. I will help where I can. Of course, I should say that there is no need for you to join me.
Oh, well, the plague won't bother me or Nara.
All right, yes.
Right.
Still, I do have medical knowledge that might be valuable.
The plague will not bother you. What are you, the holy people? Like I have heard of the stories of the holy warriors, and the diseases do not affect them. Is that?
Oh, yes, I'm sure it's something like that. But you have to understand classified Kargat, Darkonian business, Aslan Rex, etc. Yes.
Yes. It's just you would not be guilty of the espionage and then get hung upon your return home. I understand this. Yeah, you keep your secrets.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Well, then, shall we?
Yeah. And
If you insist.
And he backs out for a second. Tanya, don't know if you know, we lost your camera.
I just saw.
Perfect. He turns and begins escorting you all through the city, which, again, you all have not been at the house long. It's been maybe a half hour to 45 minutes. And it is clear that the city is in full-scale operations mode. You still hear, as it is getting dark outside, because it was getting dark when you all were arrived. It is now nighttime. Torches are lit along all of the walls. You see there are guards up there stationed, and the people are going through moving sandbags into position to fashion barricades to set up choke points if street-to-street combat were to happen. You can see again, everyone is armed. Anyone who is capable of walking has a weapon in their hands. Most of them are makeshift. A couple of them are just old and rusty. The only truly well outfitted people are the Talons. You can also see on occasion there are other warriors walking by that are wearing different kinds of armor, that are wearing a studded leather, chainmail, not so different than yours, and often they have hastily painted red talons or hawk imagery all over their body, where they basically are like conscripts. Once you start paying attention, especially you, Finn, still riding on that previous natural 20, you can kind of see the difference between the people that came here with Vladeska Drakov originally and people that have been added over time. But it's a well-oiled machine. No one is dawdling. No one is doing anything. Like, they're all getting ready for a fight as you make your way through.
I wish Desmond was with us. This is more his bag.
Yes. I wonder where they managed to get up to.
In Nahara, at that moment, you hear, Valentine is well. Their mission is proceeding as planned.
I'm sure wherever they are, they're fine.
Let us hope so.
You all are escorted again out of this merchant ward. And again, recall, Lekar is almost like a series of concentric squares where you can see there was an original city that grew out past the walls, and then more walls were built and grew out past that, and more walls were built. You also see signs of heavy devastation everywhere. Things have been destroyed and rebuilt. There's burned stone, things of that nature. And there is always the ambient wail of impaled people that are still dying. Again, contrary to what people believe, being impaled is a very slow and painful death. And it's almost as if the moans of those people dying slowly is the whip that keeps the common people moving. Because while you notice the Talons are always there, the threat of their presence is implied. You don't really see them pushing people or beating people or yelling at them. By now, everyone knows what this is, and everyone is doing their part, essentially.
So, tell me, this plague, what are the symptoms?
I would tell you, but you would think me a great fool.
Oh, no, I've seen many a strange, sometimes even magical disease during my training.
It is very strange, Herr Doctor. Might I call you Herr Doctor? Are you the doctor? What should I refer to you as?
Yes, I suppose I am acting as a physician in this instance, so doctor will do.
Yeah, it is the great fever. It comes upon the people very suddenly. But when they fall, I do not know how to say this clearly. They make the stinkiness. They make the stench. And when you smell the stench, you get the sickness as well.
So there's flatulence involved?
What is the
the sort of
yeah, it's like this, yes, but it's very terrible, yeah.
Yes. Yeah, so perhaps the issue is gastrointestinal.
Yes, the intestines. This I know. Yes, when you fight the man, you strike at that, and he dies very slowly, but he's done fighting at this point. Yeah,
yes,
it's very good. It's when you want to kill the man and you make the point, though. You understand this. He looks at you, Finn. When
and I just tap my...
Yeah. When you do not want it to be quick, you want him to have to think about his choices that have led him to this point. That is where you stick. Yes. The
The guts.
Yeah. Guts. Yeah.
Yes. Right. Well, as I say, a magical remedy is beyond my reach, but perhaps if I were able to examine a patient, I might be able to make a more thorough diagnosis.
You see he reaches into his belt and he pulls out a blood red scarf. And he's like, yeah, you should tie the face up so that you don't smell in the stinkiness. Yes,
Oh,
it's
yes,
not, it's very terrible.
Yes, of course.
I'm just thinking to myself, what if you don't breathe?
He doesn't need to know that. Oh wait, you said you were thinking it.
I was thinking, I was thinking it to myself.
Theoretically, Nahara, you're like, should be good.
We'll see.
Yep.
And just pulls up a scarf and it's like, all right, I guess.
Nahara, is that a risk you want to take?
I think it's a risk you should take, Nahara. Meanwhile, elsewhere in the city, you all have been led through here, and again, you see divisions of Talons out here that are putting out supplies. You notice they are leaving intermittently, essentially opportunities to resupply. They put out little crates and they have swords, arrows in them, what you think is probably small scale flammable things that they just leave intermittently on the streets. And Freya's like, well, the undead, they don't use weapons, usually. So if one of us becomes disarmed or we must fall back, we always has a place to resupply.
That's good, I suppose. And don't you have concern of any other enemies entering in and using your arsenal of weapons against you?
Oh, how I would love if the living people tried to do an attack on Lakar. I have not killed a man in so long.
Interesting.
And she leads you all to actually what looks like a man who, again, is probably in his mid-30s, which all of you are starting to catch on is veteran age in Lakar. He is very powerfully built, but he has almost like an intermittent patchwork of his armor, similar to what Desmond's wearing. There's a metal plate right over his heart, but for the most part, you can see it's built for mobility rather than defense, with just a couple of metal plates over his thighs as well. And he has a bandolier of daggers on him and does not have any other sword, and is very much like pointing out people. And Freya approaches and she just says, Entschuldigung, Herr Hagen, I have new recruits. And he turns and he's like, recruits? Oh.
Tatiana is giving her best menacing pose, standing behind Valentine, because she respects someone that only needs one weapon.
And you are much taller than him, head and shoulders, Tatiana. And he looks up at all of you and looks at Valentine and Desmond, and he just like bows for a moment. He's like, I am Herr Hagen, yeah. This ward is under my control.
Just this ward?
There are, many different levels. In here, this is the choke point to Sebastian Ward. Sebastian Ward is where all of the Talons are stationed. So it is my sworn duty to protect my brothers and sisters. And so they have the safe place to fall back to rest, to administer the medical treatment. If Sebastian Ward were to fall, all of Lescar would be doomed.
Seems you're important. Perhaps you would speak to us alone. My lady, Valentine, she has words to exchange with you.
And he looks at you, Valentine, and he looks at Freya, and Freya just sort of like nods slightly, and she's like, I will oversee things here, Herr Hagen, if you would like a moment. They are the visiting diplomats from Darkhan, and I have told them that you are very influential in the safety and security of Lakar. And he is, yeah. You have command until I return, Freya. And you see she just kind of stands up on the back of a wagon and just like crosses her arms and looks. Again, for the most part, people are kind of working in silence. There's not really leadership yelling, barking orders. Everyone knows their place, everyone knows their task, and they're all doing it. And he walks over to a nearby building that you think was probably once a shop of some sort and opens the door. Yes.
Before we get out of sight, I'd like to just establish a telepathic link with Tatiana so that it may continue for the next hour.
Well, are Tatiana and Desmond going to accompany them?
Are you following in?
Yeah, or is Valentine going to go alone?
I protect you best. I don't know this man.
Please. Great.
Is Desmond going to come as well?
Oh, yeah. Guaranteed.
Excellent.
Okay. Excellent.
He opens the door, and you can see there is a table that has a couple of bowls and a couple of mugs on it. You can tell they probably stopped to eat here. Otherwise, it is fairly bare. And he motions for you. He's like, apologies for the conditions. I realize you're probably used to a much higher level of extravagance in Darkon, but here we are on the wartime footing.
Sure. Is the door closed?
Yeah, he closes it once you all go in.
Excellent. Freya's told us some things, and I'd definitely like to know more. I hear you've got quite a bit of influence and a little bit of scheming as well. And I do so love a scheme.
You see, he sort of like looks at all of you for a moment and he says, Entschuldigung, apologies. My lady, Vladeska Drakov, has many ears, and as you know, treason is punished by impaling. Were someone to speak against her, this would be a fatal offense.
Which is why we would never, of course.
She's not my lady.
And he sort of looks and he's like,
Right.
If Vladeska Drakov were to no longer be the ruler of Lekar, might the next ruler count on the support of Darkon in the restoration of peace and order here?
I think that could be arranged. Should, obviously, peace and order here be something you believe you can achieve. What do you intend to do?
Tomorrow night, the zombies will come. They always come. Vladeska Drakov will ride out to meet them, as she always does. She is very brave and fights on the front lines, unlike many rulers. I do not mean to insult your Azalin Rex, but he hides inside of his palace while others do his bidding. For all of her flaws, Vladeska Drakov, she fights alongside of us, win or lose.
We're not planning to dethrone Aslan Rex, so there must be some flaw, shouldn't there be?
Sehr gut. Yeah, you make the good point. But there may be a time during the siege when she finds herself alone, and perhaps she does not survive.
And in that truly tragic circumstances, you sit in her seat?
Well, they will require strength and wisdom and guidance. Bjorn Horstman has a number of supporters. He came here with Vladeska Drakov, and there will be those that wish to see that order reestablished, but I believe we will be able to show the people the wisdom of a new way of doing things.
Do you intend to do that democratically or with force?
What is the democratic... What is this word? I do not know this type of leadership.
Do you intend to hope that they agree, or do you intend to insist that they agree.
Yeah, no. We must properly motivate people to see things our way. Yes, like inevitably, I'm sure there will be some blood that is shed. There may be others besides Vladeska Drakov that do not survive the siege, which would be a great loss to the Talons and to the people of Lekar. Their names will be remembered as having died as heroes.
May I ask a question?
Absolutely. I've never seen the woman like you. From what land do you hail?
Very far away.
You
Not a
are-
place
it-
you've heard of.
Is the stories when I was a boy, they speak of the Jotun, the frost giants. Are you like them? With the tall and the blueness.
I am not a frost giant. I am an air genasi descended from elementals. You will not disrespect me so.
Ah, no disrespect. You are a sight to behold. I am sure you know how to wield that axe quite effectively as well. Yes, what is your question?
Almost too effective is another point. My question is, why is it your goal to create more bloodshed of the living when you have this plague of undead coming for you? What would you do differently?
Give me a persuasion check.
We'll see is not really her thing. $13.
He just looks at you and he says, I believed in Vladeska Drakov's rule. I believed in her wisdom and strength. But now I fear she leads us only into ruin. We cannot keep doing this as we have continued to do, or we will be destroyed.
Will you continue this impaling?
I have no interest in the impaling.
Okay, may I propose you take a pit and you have them fight in the pit, and whoever is the best fighter is rewarded.
I like this plan as a good plan. Also, if I should emerge as the leader, it may be possible for to have the diplomats of Darkhan here, and you would have the run of the city. Perhaps you could oversee these fighting pits for us. You would be honored guests, of course.
I will show you how to do it. Yes, it's no problem. We must survive attack first.
He turns and looks at you, Desmond, and he says, "You are clearly the warrior. You are not speaking. I would like to know your thoughts on these things, or do you think it is insubordinate to question the leadership in a time of war?"
I've been silent because I'm listening. I feel like questioning leadership in a time of war is expected. If you don't, you may just be mindlessly following orders. I imagine here that is a problem, but it happens. Sometimes you have to deal with it in some ways, others in more extreme ways, but questioning leadership is common.
Might I invite the three of you? And he stops for a second and he looks at you, Valentine, and he says, when the battle comes, do you prefer to be out fighting, or do you prepare to be somewhere observing? I do not mean to underestimate you under any circumstances, but you do not have the military bearing of these other two.
I certainly don't. I would prefer to have more of a vantage point to view the battle.
Tomorrow night, I would request that perhaps the three of you are here with me. You will see what must be done.
We came with a few more associates. They can be trusted, which is rare, as I'm sure you know. Could we make that the six of us here with you?
It would be an honor. Of course, I believe it goes without saying, I would prefer Vladeska Drakov not know of this meeting. I believe she might be cross with us.
We're great at keeping secrets. That's no trouble at all.
At the door, you hear 2 knocks and then a third knock. It's clearly a secret knock, like boop, boop, boom. And he goes, yeah, and that is why we will be victorious tomorrow night, as Vladeska Drekov is always victorious. And he opens the door, and you see Freya. And she says, Entschuldigung bitte, they are bringing the other Darkonians this direction. I believe they are looking for their associates.
We should go. I'll look to Tatiana and Desmond just as a like, shall we?
It's pleasure to meet fierce leader and warrior, and I offer my hand and
He gives you the full warrior's grip, forearm to forearm, yeah. And he goes,
That's right.
Yeah, we will fight gloriously tomorrow, yeah?
Yeah, there will be much blood if they have blood. Never mind. There will be much carnage.
They are full of all sorts of terrible things, I think, yeah. And as he looks across, and you see Finn, Nahara, and Uriah being escorted by a tall man across, and he goes, yeah, they're good. Hello, visitors from Darkon. Yes, tomorrow you will see the true might of Falkovnia and of Leka. Yeah, they're good. And he motions for Desmond and Tatiana and Valentine to be able to rejoin your friends.
Do we smell what Uriah smells?
Not yet. You're not. You're not in the place of the. Yeah, not yet.
I was just told to put one on. I didn't. I wanted to obey all the rules.
And you do see that the man that is with him has a red scarf, a bright red scarf tied across his face, and Finn has her face covered up, and Nahara doesn't.
Tatiana will use unending breath.
Just.
I can hold my breath for an unlimited amount of time when I'm not incapacitated.
You do.
I also don't breathe.
I give Tatiana a wink.
You do see this man with the mask on, and he's like, yeah, we have a bit of a plague situation that we have invited Herr Doctor to take a look, and he asked that we recover you as well. If you have the ability to cover your mouth and nose, you may want to do so at this time.
I over dramatically.
Desmond smelled it ages ago, and his was up first.
Air is never a problem for Tatiana.
He does lead you all further along, and you notice the further you get towards the outskirts of the city, the more worn and decimated it is. And all of you give me perception checks, actually.
That's a dirty 20.
Excellent.
Natural 19.
Excellent.
Dirty 20.
Excellent.
18.
18. Perfect.
17.
Desmond successfully disbelieved.
Yep.
Oh.
Tens are useless.
For the most part, as you all get over here, you get to the edge of the city that borders the river, and this is decimated. And you absolutely smell death. There is an ambient stench as multiple people have been impaled not too far away from here outside the walls, but it is clear in here there are dead bodies that come wafting offensively as you make it over here. It is also clear, especially for those of you that got north of 20, this place has been absolutely wrecked. Every door is smashed. Every window is shattered. They have been nailed back up, and there have been haphazard attempts at being fortified, but it is very clear to all of you, anyone who was here during the last siege did not survive.
Ooh.
Well, this is pleasant.
It's death, Nahara. It's death.
I lean over to Nahara. Can you smell? I see. I'm sorry. Awkward question.
I don't breathe.
I do not right now. It's cool.
Yeah.
Yes, I saw. That's quite clever of you.
This thing I can do.
You're full of surprises.
Don't stop.
For the three of you who are not breathing, you are largely unfazed by this, but you even catch like a little bit of it still creeps into your nostrils against your will, and you're aware something bad is here. For Uriah, Desmond, and Finn, it is a stench that offends the gods.
Would it bother Finn that much, actually?
Yes. You're usually very comfortable around death, having been surrounded by it and inflicted it plenty of times. This is something different.
Yeah, she makes like cat face at the smell. It's like, this is worse than any battlefield I've ever seen.
You see the Talon that is with you, even though he's tied the red bandana on, pulls out a second cloth and kind of pours something on it that you think is a cologne and kind of puts it over it again and is like, yeah, the casualties in the river district were significant last time, but necessary. And unfortunately, there's not enough room in the city for all of the people, so they still had to come out and reoccupy, but in the squalor, apparently, an illness of some kind has taken hold.
I see. Now, I'm afraid you'll find me somewhat impaired for this. B-Dave, how long would it take me to swap out a spell? I still have spell slots left, but I don't have a particular spell I was thinking of prepared.
Well, I'll give it to you.
Oh, okay.
We'll say 10. I think it's an hour of prayer or whatever, but we'll say 10 minutes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I say that I'll have to make some preparations. I do that. And basically, I'm going to prepare detect poison and disease.
Perfect.
So I'm going to get an indication of like how I think I've got like a 30-foot radius or a 30-foot range on this. So I don't want to get too close to the afflicted, but I'll need them pointed out where they are.
Excellent. Give me just a second while I read exactly how detect poison and disease works, so make sure I can tell you the right thing.
It gives me a fair bit of info, I think, as I recall.
Excellent. Yes, you identified the poisonous creature or disease within 30 feet, but it is blocked by more than a foot of stone or common metal or thin sheet. So, Brother Uriah, you are aware there are several sick people here. There's at least 6 sick people. However, beyond the range of your detect poison disease, it is getting stronger further away from you. There is a source of it that is further in the further into the slums of the river district that you could go towards and detect, but from where you are, it's like definitely stronger outside of your detection.
It seems that there may be a source of the contagion. If you would not all mind accompanying me, I think it's this way.
If we must, it's a strong choice for you to ask. You know you owe us all a favor now.
Although before we go, is it possible, again, not getting too close, to do like a visual examination of the patients and do a medicine roll?
You see a man comes out of one of these buildings, and his cheeks look hollow and gaunt. There is crusted sputum around his mouth where you can tell he's been vomiting. His eyes are red and bloodshot and red rimmed from coughing, and comes out as is that doctor? Hello, the doctor.
Yes, hello. Yes, I'm the doctor, and these are my companions.
Thanks for Deskadrakov that we are saved.
Yes, just if you could stay where you are, sir. I just need to examine you from a bit of a remove, if that's all.
In vomits a bright bluish purple pool down onto the ground, and all of you need to make Constitution saves.
Oh no. Okay.
Tatiana, Nahara, and Valentine, who are not breathing, can roll with advantage.
Oh, dagnabbit.
Nope. That's a big fail for Uriah.
That's a dirty 20.
Yeah.
Okay.
18.
21.
Is it a
Eight-
saving or
eight
just a
for
regular
Desmond.
throw?
This is a Constitution saving throw. It is against a poison effect, so if you have any relevant.
Oh, I also have defense against poison.
Yep.
Yes, I'm resistant against poison.
Okay. Perfect.
16, because I actually have a negative on mine.
Perfect. You reborn. You are resistant to poison or immune.
Resistant.
Okay, perfect. For everyone who got under. Actually, hold on 1 second here. Let me double check something before I say how this is gonna go. You might talk amongst yourselves for a moment while I look up something.
Is purple is not the correct color for anything to come out of person.
No.
No.
No, indeed.
What have you been eating?
I'm not feeling terribly well.
Oh, I hold you up, Uriah. I keep you well. It's fine. It's fine. Don't breathe so much. You breathe too
Keep
much.
your mouth covered.
Yes. I fear it may be too late.
Uriah.
Do I kill him? Is it
So-
favor?
No.
Okay.
I don't know.
Sorry, I'm just double checking one other thing here.
Because
Yeah,
I
Uriah
will kill
is still
him.
covered up at this point, but he did
Yes.
roll a 4, so
If it is
that's
kinder thing to do, I put a
No.
hand axe through chest.
perfect.
No.
Oh, no.
Those,
No,
those
not yet.
Hey, becoming
Those-
undead's not all that bad.
of-
I will let you know, but not right now. Thank you.
those
I-
of you. Yes, Finn. Yes.
I was gonna say I did grab Uriah. I tried to pull him away as this happened.
Unfortunately, it was not fast enough. Those
Oh,
of
no.
you that got less than 12 take 14 points of damage.
Oh no! We have
Oh.
zombies to fight.
And are you poisoned?
Ew,
No,
Brother,
I got
you're
too,
right.
dude.
Not to be the person in class who asks if there's homework.
I'm just barely on my feet, so I'm going to cure myself.
Those of you that made the save take 7 points. Those of you who are resistance, that is cut in half to 3.
Well,
In Brother Uriah, you see this man falls to the ground, and after a moment starts to stand up again, but wrong. And you are aware that you, Finn, and Desmond are infected with a zombie plague that should you die with it in your blood, you will rise as zombies as well.
Oh,
And I need everybody to roll initiative.
oh dear.
wait, can
Yeah.
a dump here also become a zombie?
Oh yeah. You're still half
Yes, but
alive.
when you say
Fantastic.
zombie, do you mean
Ah.
undead like us, or
I
do you mean the attacking?
zombie.
Oh, right.
There are
I'm sorry,
stages-
Uriah.
Yes, there are stages of undeath. And this is a particularly unpleasant one.
Okay, it's a 13 for me.
Dirty
15
20.
for me.
I'm a 4.
You can say it out loud, but give it to me in chat as well, just so I can
Sure.
keep track of it here.
Sure, I got a 16.
9.
Oh no.
Okay, Desmond 9. Okay. That is a 13 for Valentine. I need to see if your companion made the save. He did. You hear him choking and retching, but he is still on his feet. Okay. So that is Finn, Uriah, Valentine, Desmond, Tatiana. I'm missing somebody. Nahara. What? Nahara's 15. Perfect.
Well,
We're going to call him Johan, and Johan is going to get to act as well.
No, sir. I don't like it.
Perfect. Finn, you are actually first. This cloud has gone off. You feel... You are accustomed to existing in a state between life and death, Finn. This is the only life you've ever known. You don't necessarily know what full vitality even is, except when you feel it sliding down your throat from the blood of another. But you know whatever this is you've just inhaled has taken something from you. And you see this zombie rise up slowly in front of you as Brother Uriah and Desmond are also violently coughing and choking around you. It is, however, your turn, Finn.
We've had a long rest since the last time I used the thing.
You're back at 100. All of you are.
Except for what just happened.
Except for what just happened.
So I got 1 hit point. I have 1 hit point.
Right. I think it's,
Yep.
It's not.
Just for the record, the thing I went to check was everybody's hit points because I was like, am I about to one-shot the whole group?
No.
Maybe.
you are.
You know?
Maybe.
Good job, Dave. Good job.
But Finn, you're still alive. It's fine. Don't worry about it. It is, however, your turn, Finn.
Now I'm just irritated. I've been irritated. So hopefully, knock on wood, we'll get a long rest after this. Finn shows her second form. Her wings pop out, her fangs get longer, her claws get longer. And even though she's like shown her true self, she knows that if she touches this zombie, it'll get worse. So she actually goes for an attack with the sword that Isolde gave her.
Perfect.
Nepenthe.
Oh, no, she didn't bring Nepenthe with her.
Oh, just kidding.
No, Nepenthe stayed at the carnival.
Nepenthe Jr.
Yeah, Isolde letting go of Nepenthe.
We'll call it Lenore, which that's a deep cut from my poetry nerds there.
Wow.
Yeah.
All right, so I get a +1 on attack and damage.
Yep.
And I still just get 1 attack. I need 5th level so I can get 2 attacks.
I know that feel.
Okay, I'm showing you this. It is a nat 20. Yep.
Hey.
Damn it. I'm like, I turned it.
I believe you. Dramatically appropriate natural 20.
Yes.
Okay.
So I get a D8.
Yep, it's all doubled. Double the damage, double any of your special stuff if that happens. And
we're saying I wielded this two-handed because I'm irritated.
I'm for it.
So with that, I roll a D10. I think I always have a hard time. So that is 20 points of damage on the zombie.
20 points?
Yep.
Perfect.
Because it's double.
See, it starts to stand up, and Finn just cuts its head off. And it falls to the ground. And as you might recall, your first moments in the mist, you were beset by zombies who went down and kept getting back up again. But this one does not move. Unfortunately, in the houses around you, you hear as this gas begins leaking out through where you detected these other 6 sick people, Brother Uriah. And you are aware now that the source of this is still on the other side of this all, that you, outside of your ability to detect, and you hear the Johan, the guard, walks over to you, Uriah, and picks you up by the arm, and he's like, should I get you out of here? Hell, doctor, I cannot have the diplomat dying in the slums of Lakar. You are muted, Brother Uriah.
Well, I'm like this. Yes. I suggest we all beat a hasty retreat. Are we on my turn or Johan's?
This is technically Johan's turn.
Okay.
Yep.
Then I will say that we should all beat a hasty retreat. If one of these things can do this, I don't think we can face a swarm of them.
He kind of steps in front of you and he's like, yeah, I cannot let them get back into Lakar. You run. I will defend you all. And he moves and like steps in front of you, and you see he pulls his sword out as the doors open, and you see 6 other zombies come out that look like freshly dead people. But at the far end, the door opens and you see something different come out. It was probably once a person, but it is bulbous and misshapen. And there are holes in it where you can see like pockets of gas have opened up and erupted, and you can see inside of it and see its rotted organs. And it just sort of like looks at all of you and starts coming forward. However, it's going to take some time to get here because zombies are very slow. So you all are aware that there are 6 regular zombies and 1 zombie plague spreader that are coming your direction. Now, however, Uriah, it is your turn. And to make sure that I've set the scene properly, this is the night before the siege. So you have a reasonable expectation that should you survive, you will have time to rest. However, you are muted again, Uriah.
Good, that is fortunate because I'm currently at a single hit point. So I think the only move here is to use my Cleric of the Grave thing of someone who's so badly wounded. I will cure myself while also backing up, giving a little more space between myself and Johan.
Excellent.
And also heartily encouraging the others verbally that perhaps we should withdraw.
Is you heal and move backwards. You see Johan does swing bravely with his sword at one of the zombies and cuts a hunk into it. And it just keeps coming forward. Perfect. Okay. It is Nahara's turn. You see Brother Uriah put his hand on his chest and see some of his wounds begin to close as he's moving backwards. But this is the scene before you. Johan has run forward to engage 6 zombies and a plague spreader.
Oh, question.
Yes, you're right.
Has the curative magic, do I feel as though this disease is still within my bloodstream, or?
It is technically poison, not a disease.
Ah, I see.
Yes. So, give me a religion check, and you can give it to me with advantage, Brother Uriah, because this is what you do.
Very well. That is a natural 20, 23 total.
Excellent. You are aware. 1 second here. You are aware this will be in your blood for 24 hours, but I will say on a natural 20, you think you could probably heal it if given some time. You think you know what to do, because this is very much the type of thing a cleric of a grave would be prepared against. You know, like if the plague is spreading, how to stop it.
And I could help anyone else who's infected as well.
Yes.
Very well.
Yes. However, you do know if you die with this in your bloodstream, you will come back not just as a zombie, as a plague spreader.
Let's try to avoid that then.
Yes. However, Nahara, it is your turn.
Having taken, albeit a very small amount of damage from the poison, would I be able to Hellish Rebuke?
No, because Hellish Rebuke requires an attack, and it has to be right then. This was in effect.
So this was because in effect.
Yeah.
All right.
Mm-hmm.
Then I'm going to take on my form of dread. And
I just appreciate here that it's like zombies are like, brah, and the two of you are like, brah.
Yes.
What does your form of dread look like?
My eyes go white and get very bright as though they're glowing, and my wings take on as though they're flickering flames instead of feathers.
When this transformation happens, Valentine, you hear in your mind, I understand the Dark King's interest in her. I understand everyone's interest in her, honestly.
Because she has fiery wings?
Because she is great and terrible to behold. Oh, also, fear not, Valentine. I assure you, I won't let you die here. Not like this.
I'd prefer not to become that. Sure.
It would be a tremendous waste.
Should we stay and fight or should we go?
Oh, that is completely up to you. I myself was never much one for heroism, but there is probably wisdom that if these should get loose in the city on the night before the siege, they would almost certainly be doomed.
And I still have an action, yes?
Oh, yes. This is all Valentine's internal monologue. You absolutely still get to do whatever you're going to do.
Gotcha. In that case, I am going to hurl a witch bolt at the plague spreader.
Perfect. Roll it.
That is 18, 19, 20, 22 to hit.
More than enough to hit it.
And that
What
is...
kind of damage is that?
It's lightning damage.
Perfect.
And 7 points of lightning damage.
Perfect. You see you punch a hole into this thing and rotted flesh just explodes outwards and lands on the ground and actually smells worse from being cooked, but it does not react in any way. Continues coming forward. Anything else from Nahara? You are muted, ma'am.
I just kind of smile at him when I stay there.
This time, you hear in your mind, Nahara, you all have such colorful assistants here. Would you like me to intervene? You are muted, Nahara.
Yeah. My microphone is very fidgety. If you insist, Stuart, who am I to stop you?
Then I will enter Stuart into the initiative order, and when it becomes his turn, you might direct him. If you need the stat block for Stuart, the brain in a jar is in Van Richten's Guide to Ravenloft.
That's right. I shall go grab it real quickly. Excuse me.
Excellent. Perfect. And that brings us to Valentine.
Are they close enough that if I were to start backing up, they would get an opportunity of attack?
No, they haven't really gotten into arm's reach yet.
Okay.
You could still move.
And where are Fen and Uriah placed? Or is it Tatiana's with Uriah?
So all of you were kind of together.
Yeah.
And now Uriah has kind of started beating a hasty exit. Everyone is still kind of bunched up, and there's definitely space to the zombies. Johan has gone forward and engaged one of them, but the others are still coming. You could pretty easily get all of them and not your friends if that is your
I'd like
intention.
to back up as much as possible in the same direction Uriah is heading, and I would like to firebolt them, please.
Absolutely. Could do so easily.
All right, that's a natural 20.
Are you aiming this at the main plague spreader, presumably?
I sure am.
Excellent.
All right. That'll be
You are muted, Brother Uriah.
Just say we've had some 20s when we've needed them today.
Yeah,
That
right.
is true.
Very kind.
They have been clutch.
Okay.
All true.
So that's an 8 on the die, so 16 points of damage if doubled.
Excellent. 16 point of fire damage, and again, a stench to offend the gods comes rolling off of this thing. You have harmed it, clearly, but it just opens its mouth and its jaw falls off. As it is on fire and coming your direction still.
I'm just heading out, but like walking backwards to keep an eye on it.
Perfect. Casually, as one does. Excellent.
Never rushing.
Perfect. That makes it Desmond's turn.
Desmond is also slowly walking in the direction that Brother Uriah suggests, hating the idea of leaving a battle, but knowing that it's not looking good. And he's gonna roll out with his lovely longbow, or attempt to anyways. And that'd be a 12 to hit.
At which one? One of the zombies or the main plague spreader?
Main plague spreader.
That is enough. You notice
Perfect.
it does not seem particularly difficult to hit. It makes no attempt whatsoever to avoid damage or anything. It just takes it and keeps coming forward. But yes, that is a hit.
Swinging the hit.
Let me ask you a question, since again I realize we have a lot of things to keep track of. Would you like to Hunter's Mark it first?
Yes, please and thank you.
Absolutely.
That's a nice DM right there.
Done. Much appreciated.
Again, we're all keeping track of a lot of stuff.
And I rolled a 7 for damage.
Excellent. In your Hunter's Mark's another D6, or was that included?
Um.
No, Hunter's Mark is another D6. If you
Oh, I
didn't
didn't roll the D6.
Yeah, you roll that and add it into
I
it.
cast it, and that is a 4.
Perfect. So 11 points of damage. Perfect. Again, embeds into it with a loud squish, but it continues coming forward. Excellent. And that brings us to Tatiana.
Sorry, I'm so excited for what I'm about to do.
Yep.
My friends are mighty spellcasters, but they don't know. Secret weapon Tatiana has been waiting for opportunity to use.
Mm-hmm.
I would like to cast Levitate on giant plague creature so that my friends can hit it while it floats 20 feet in air.
Perfect.
That's a Constitution saving throw for this mighty pile of muck.
I love an offensive use of levitate. It absolutely fails, and so it
It's good because 12 is not hard.
begins floating. I rolled very poorly. It begins floating up into the air. This is the first thing that seems to have gotten a reaction out of it, and hangs there.
You will not spread your nastiness any further to my friends. And as
I just imagine Tatiana raises her hand and the wind whips in and just blows it upwards, holding it there. Yes. Mm-hmm. And as a bonus action, yes.
Oh, I will enter a rage because 3 of my friends look like they didn't like that vomit very much.
They are not doing too good. And yes, as it floats there helplessly, what would you like to do, Nahar? Or what, more accurately, would you command Stuart to do? You were hardware and software muted there.
I would command Stuart to use his psychic damage abilities as best he can, and so he would mind blast one of them. So it would be whoever is in a 60-foot cone radius.
Yes, I will say, since we've established that you all were kind of there together. However, you will get Johan in that cone. There's no way to hit them and avoid him. Or you could get about half of them and miss Johan and get the plague spreader. Let me do it.
You know what? I will let Stuart decide.
You already know what Stuart's gonna do. You all see the jar just vibrates for a second and a cone of psychic force goes out, engulfing Johan and everyone else. Johan also got a 1 on his save, so he's gonna take it all.
24 points of psychic damage.
Johan! Oh, poor Johan.
You see all 6 of the zombies drop. However, when they all fall and lay there for a moment, Johan starts to get up again.
Oh, lovely.
He turns and looks at all of you and just goes,
Oh, Johan, we're very sorry.
However, the plague spreader made its save, but Tatiana, does it get any additional saves, or is it just stuck up there?
No, it can push against objects or surface within reach to move as if climbing. If there are no objects within reach, it cannot move.
It is stuck up there. It is stuck completely.
And I may use my movement to move it.
Perfect. Nope. There's nothing up there. It's not 20 feet in the air. The slums over here. That brings us back around. Finn, it is your turn. Again, you see the plague spreader is floating, and Johan is now shambling back towards you all with his sword still in his hand, having died with the plague spreader toxin in his blood.
Sorry, Johan. Sometimes it's like that. And I roll forward against Johan, and I am wielding my sword two-handed because I'm angry.
Have at it. Yep.
And I have to remember to also add 4 points to this because I get +4 while I'm in second form.
Excellent.
So it's a total of +7 on my attack.
I will just say I got a natural 20 on that save, so it was better that than in an attack roll, though. So, you know. Yeah.
True.
Use it all up now.
Oh, with all my extra points, it's a 23 to hit him.
More than enough.
That is 8, 9, 11 11 damage.
Perfect. Your sword bites deeply into him, and him being freshly dead, you still see there is still very red blood running out of him. He but continues coming forward, and it is anything else from Finn?
I guess I'm gonna pull my sword away if I can and back up.
You absolutely can. However, it is now Johan's turn. And he is going to try and hit you back. Does a 16 hit you?
Unfortunately.
He hits you for 7 points of damage with his sword.
Then I am unconscious. Can I get an opportunity attack before I fall down?
Unfortunately, you cannot.
Then I am at 0 HP.
Brother Uriah, you are aware if she does not make it out of this, what's going to happen. However, we'll come back to that in a moment. A note was given, which, believe it or not, I was not unaware of. I was just going to save it for a dramatically appropriate moment. However, in that moment is now, Tatiana, you have levitated this plague spreader into the air victoriously and howl in rage.
Do you see, my friends, what I have done? I am so powerful and full of rage.
Which makes it impossible to concentrate on the levitate.
Yeah.
And the plague spreader comes back to the ground.
He's got a splashdown, though, right?
That is, he does not. However, he is going to try and attack you, Tatiana, somewhat ineffectively. I don't think that's going to be enough. I realize you don't have a huge AC. That is a 10 and a 14. Does a 14 hit you?
No. I'm way too strong.
I didn't think so. It does come forward, just slamming against you with its arms, but it's like being hit with pillows, Tatiana. Although, give me a perception check, Tatiana.
18.
You see it is starting to swell up again with gas. And you deeply suspect it's about to unleash a second cloud if you don't kill it soon.
Everyone, probably best to take cover.
Yes. You might have a moment, but time is not on your side with this. However, Uriah, it is your turn. You have seen Finn fallen before you, and the zombie plague spreader is loose again, and now Johan is one as well.
Very well. Bonus action, spare the dying on Fen, stabilize her, and the plague spreader is closer?
Yes, it is within melee range. Both of them are within melee range of your group now.
Yes, I assume I'm not in melee since I
yeah, you did move back. And yes, Nahara?
I realized that on my turn, we didn't do the form of dread wisdom saving throw for all the creatures.
Well, all but the plague spreader are dead now. So what is the wisdom saving throw? What would it do?
It would make them frightened until the end of my next turn.
They cannot be frightened.
Oh, well, that solves that.
The part of their brain that processes fear rots out. Yes.
Well,
Yes, go ahead.
Well, perhaps they cannot be frightened, but I shall put the fear of Ezra into them by launching a guiding
Yes.
bolt
Absolutely.
at the plague spreader.
You know, actually, I just double-checked. This particular creature is not immune to fear. What is the difficulty of the save?
13.
I guess it's logical that if they can be turned, they can be scared. It does come forward to attack Tatiana, but you see it come because it just falls out of the sky, but it gets no closer. It does stop right there. Although at the time when you did that, Johan was still on your side, so he would not be affected by this.
Gotcha.
And yes, what did you get on that guiding bolt?
Oh, guiding bolt, ruling that now. I would use... Oh, terrible. A 7.
It flies wide, Uriah, as you are overcome with a coughing fit as you shoot your guiding bolt, and it arcs off into the distance.
I continue to use my move to back up. And retreat, everyone!
Absolutely. You are moving backwards effectively, perfectly.
But someone, please pick up Finn!
Nara, it is your turn.
And there's just that one creature?
Oh, there are 2. There's the original plague spreader, which is beat up, but still up and fighting. And now Johan, who has become a plague spreader as well.
Both plague spreaders. Okay. I'm going to hit... Is Johan the closest to our party?
They are both within melee range. Johan has struck down Finn and is standing over her body. But
I'm going to hit Johan.
Yeah. Go for Johan. Excellent.
That is a dirty 20.
That is enough to hit him.
And that is 9 points of lightning damage.
Excellent. You see he has
And then he has to make a wisdom saving throw.
Perfect. He also rolled very poorly. So you see as he stands over Finn and strikes her down and raises the sword a second time to finish her. Like stumbles backwards and you see his eyes widen as he just stands still there, very much taken aback.
I cackle.
Anything else from Nahara? Cackling,
No, that's
cackling
it.
is a free action, yes.
That's it.
Valentine, what would you like to do?
Okay, I can't possibly pick Fen up. I mean, she's rather small, but I don't think that I would in any way have the strength for it. How far is Fen from
I
me?
would say if your goal is to just kind of like grab her hand and drag her, that is within your capacity to do. However, you would be within range of Johan hitting you on the way out.
Okay. Would it take a full action to like pull her, literally like drag her by her hand?
To drag her to safety would take your full action, which you could do, but you would be subjected to potentially getting damaged yourself.
Well, I've got defenses against poison. I am going to try and grab either by like clothing around her shoulders or literally her hand and not try and pick her up at all, but like drag her on the ground backwards towards the rest of us.
I believe we established you've already cast Mage Armor somewhere along the way, right? It's 8 hours. I believe you already said that, yes?
We did in the last episode at some point, yes.
Right. And I was like, yes, excellent.
Before we were going into the people, I did have Mage Armor up.
Perfect. I believe, yes, I do recall that. Unfortunately, Johan got a natural 20 to hit you as you are attempting to drag Finn to safety for 10 points of damage.
Ouch. And it's just like a slashing damage. It's not like he's trying to poison me.
Slashing. He
Excellent. That puts
swings
me at
at
one.
you with his two-handed sword. However, you do manage to successfully get Finn to safety.
And by getting Fen to safety, I am also out of hitting range.
Yes, you also have moved back up to the far side of the party. However, thoroughly damaged by this.
I'm at 1 HP.
You have bled up your lovely dress, unfortunately, but you have saved your friend in the process.
As long as there's none of the purple ick on it.
Finn, give me a perception check. Wait, not perception. Give me survival with advantage.
Are you
That's a not good, huh?
Both of them are 4.
You're not aware of any of this, Finn, as she's dragging you. You being alive but thoroughly unconscious. However, a few drops of some very unusual blood falls on your lips as you're being dragged away.
Can I tell in my not quite aware state if it's human or not, or just that it's nothing I've tasted before?
Well, unfortunately, the dice say you're not quite aware.
All right.
Just, something has happened.
Wow, the digital dice have betrayed me.
As they are wont to do. Desmond, you have seen Valentine leap into danger to rescue Finn, paying a heavy price herself, as Johan is standing there hissing at Nahara. And the other plague spreader as well has engaged Tatiana, but neither of them seem capable of moving any further forward. And did that just happen to Desmond or me? Because he stopped and then sped
I was
up
like,
real
who
quick.
froze?
Right. Might be having a tech snafu for Desmond here.
Perhaps I can have free action to yell to my comrades. Is he not taking damage from regular means?
Oh, he is definitely being harmed by all of this.
Oh, okay.
Let's go ahead and Tatiana, what would you like to do while we get Desmond back here?
I was going to help Finn, but I see that poor Valentine has suffered in doing so. So I will angrily strike out. Johan hurt Valentine?
Yeah, it was Johan.
Then
Yes.
Johan must suffer. And
Perfect.
I am a little scared to touch the battle axe. Perhaps. But it is the most fun. So I will grab that Berserker battle axe.
Have at it. In attack.
Wisdom saving throw now or later?
I believe the wisdom saving throw is when you get hurt while you're holding it. I believe
It's true.
you.
It's true.
Yeah.
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 Okay.
Hello. Sorry, my computer decided to reboot.
No problem at all. It's a quick reboot. We're just gonna resolve Tatiana real quick, and then we'll come back to Desmond.
Johan takes. I hit for 17.
That is enough to hit him.
Okay, so now we swing. Is 9.
9 points of damage.
Yes.
Again, a significant chunk taken out of him here.
You do not betray my friendship. He's going to be Johan's friend.
In Desmond, you see Tatiana has rushed forward and engaged Desmond. Valentine has pulled Finn to safety, being grievously wounded on her own in the process of. What would you like to do?
Is either of the zombies in the way of me making the retreat with the rest of the party?
No, you're able to keep moving backwards and shooting if you wish. You could just beat a full. Yeah, you absolutely are, especially because they seem distinctly afraid of Nahara. So every time she takes a step, they take a step, but otherwise they're kind of like.
All right, I use my move to kind of flank them and keep the party closer to me and take the party out of range of my shot as I aim to fire with the longbow again.
Perfect. It would be kind of, they both seem very much fixated on Tatiana right now. You would be able to shoot easily, either at Johan or him.
Is it visible which one of them is taking more damage? I feel like it's the main.
The plague spreader definitely has been damaged more.
All right.
It is definitely more off-putting watching Johan do this because he's taking damage like a mortal human. like blood and broken bones and things that are still inside of him are showing, but he is up. Yep.
Yeah, I'm gonna fire at the plague spreader.
Excellent.
Rolling the hit.
Mm-hmm.
That is a 17.
That is enough to hit it.
Sorry, no. Rolling the hit.
Mm-hmm.
7.
Perfect. And excellent. Anything else from Desmond as you're attacking and moving, presumably?
Moving with the team and popping shots. That's it.
Excellent. Nahara, would you like to have Stuart do anything?
Oh yes. Now that that I know that Fen is safely out of the way, would the two of them be able to be struck at the same time without hitting the party?
So I have rolled. He has recharged his mind blast. However, you cannot do it without getting Tatiana because she is engaged actively. You could miss everybody else, but you would get her.
I cannot
I
take
would
24.
not want to do that. So, who is closest to Tatiana? Is it Johan?
They both are because the plague spreader attacked her, but she attacked Johan. So the three of them are just right there together.
Who looks like they are not doing so well, or do
The
they
plague
both
spreader is hurt the worst, and you are aware of the fact that it is going to release the gas again as soon as it can.
Okay, so I think to Stuart, show no mercy. You know what to do. And Stuart will cast Chill Touch on the plague spreader.
Excellent.
So that will be.
Yeah, I'll let you roll. You can roll for him.
Oh, you could. Do you want to roll?
Dealer's choice.
I rolled.
I'll let you control him.
I rolled a 21.
Yes, I got a 1 on the die, so yeah. I'm gonna go ahead.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let me see.
Just the bad touch would go horribly awry. Yes.
Let's see. 14 points.
Perfect. Although I believe that is necrotic damage, correct? Because chill touch is a misnomer. It is neither cold nor a touch. You see the hand manifest in touch the plague spreader, and absolutely nothing happens.
Okay, well, I didn't want to hurt Tatiana.
That's all you hear in your mind. However, you hear, go, attack, now! And you hear shook, 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 and arrows come arcing over all of your heads. And as you turn and look behind you, and there is a row of talons standing there with a very stern looking woman who the picture you can post if we've got handy. And she's like, loose again. And you see both the plague spreader and Johan fall backwards. And she says, stand back. We must burn the corpses.
Yes, of course, but our friend is not quite dead. If you'll allow me, I run forward and touch Fen and immediately restore. I believe you'll get maximum because you're at 0 hit points.
That is true. She will. And you see one of them comes forward. One of the talons draws a sword and is like, we cannot have another zombie. And he goes to raise it right as you...
She's fine. She's fine. She's not a zombie in any case. I saved her with the divine magic.
But as you wake up, I'm literally just like angrily dragging you by your hand through the dirt.
You, Finn, you very much see that Valentine has saved you, and blood has run down her arm onto your face while she's doing it.
Oh, I absolutely licked the blood off my face.
You see this woman steps forward and looks at all of you as members of the Talons run forward and immediately start putting torches to all of these bodies just right in the middle of the street. They burn Johan like he's nothing. And she looks at you and she says, you are the diplomats from Darkhan, and yet you fight like the trueborn of Falkovnia. Welcome. I am Vladeska. And she stops and looks at Nahara and just says, you. 99999. It cannot be you. And that is a good place for us to take a break. We'll be back in a quick 10. Don't go nowheres.
Let me hanging like that, BD.
I'm a monster. Hello, and we are back. And I apologize in the midst of all of that insanity and attempting to emotionally torment my good friends here. I was remiss in thanking our patrons, our Dark Lord of the Dread Domain tier backers, which again, if the gods are kind, we will get to a point that there's too many to name by name each episode. And I got to tell you, we're kind of getting close, which is a good problem to have. But I have to say special shout out to Aaron Duran, Alan Zozo, Aurelia Rofe, my homie, Brian Dwyer, a.k.a. Nightsfall, Brian Kepi, Chip Reynolds, Chris Smoot, Ducati, Dustin Crail, Forrest F. Moore, Graffumbly, Hell Knight Games, Joshua Lund, Kira Snow, another friend of mine, Lucille Trueblade, who actually sent me how to pronounce her name, and I'm pretty sure I still did it wrong. Mark Rodwin, Michael Skidmore, Mr. Owlbear, Project Wolfbear, Rob Tremarco, Ronan Monkey, Sin7, Sip Happens, Tech Queen B, my homie Thomas, Tino, Lita Cat, Twilight System, and Zort1. Again, thank you all so very much for your support. You literally make it possible to do what we do. Also, special shout out to our backers of the Into the Motherlands Kickstarter. We broke 150,000 in the time that we've been broadcasting, which is like a day and a half. It's ridiculous. Thank you all so very much. If you get a chance, take a look at it. We're trying to do something dope over there. But before we can get back to doing something dope, we have to finish doing something terrible. So, you all have just gloriously fought in the defense of Lekar, Johan giving his life, and were reinforced by members of the Talons, led by Vladeska Drakov herself, which again, you can see there, is likes to lead from the front. And in the midst of thanking you all for having fought as the trueborn of Falkovnia, has looked at Nahara and said, 99999, not you, 9! You cannot be here. What would you all like to do?
Whatever do you mean? Can I do a knowledge from a past life with like maybe I don't know, insight or something, perception to see what she could possibly be talking about?
You can, but as a total curveball, perhaps there is someone else who might be watching this situation. Perhaps there is someone else with a vested interest in Nahara's well-being.
Oh, would that be Stuart?
That might want to speak up. No, I'm thinking a very different kind of old, shriveled dead that might speak to her at a time such as this.
Another voice sounds in your head, one that you've heard recently. Might I be of assistance, my dear?
She takes a very dramatic gulp and, yes, please.
Drakov. She recognizes you, yes.
Yes, but in what respect?
Suffice it to say that she is the one responsible for your current sorry state.
What?
You asked for knowledge, my dear, and I shall provide.
And when the words of Aslan Rex echo through your mind, Nahara, you're reminded of that scene from the painting that you were given on board the train, the morning rail, that was you in a town square, not so dissimilar from this, being beset on all sides by enemies. And you feel yourself there again, not just a picture, you hear it. You hear screams, glass breaking, swords clashing, chaos, and a gate smashes open as red-clad warriors come filing in. And on horseback, you see this woman, Vladeska Drakov, much younger, but with her sword forward, yelling, "Ah!" And people come charging through, and you hear her say, "Spare no one! Put them all to the sword! If they will not bow down to me and join us, then they shall perish!" And she turns and she looks right at you. And she says, ha 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 ha! Look, as they have angels amongst them, shows them what happens to the angels. And then you are standing right back here in this moment, Nahara.
It's you.
What's going? Greetings, Supreme Commander Drakov. I do hope I've got your title correct. Greetings on behalf of Aslan Rex, Lord of the Iron Crown.
Well, yeah. You see Bjorn Horseman very carefully behind her. It says, these are the Draconian diplomats that I have mentioned to you. Yeah, yes, they're Supreme Ruler. What would you have us do? Yes, Nahara, you were going to say something?
Stuart.
Yes.
She must perish.
I can strike at her. I could probably slay many of her guards, but you would be outnumbered. Valentine might be harmed. That is unacceptable.
I try to reach out to Aslan. What would you have me do?
She fears you, Nara. She fears you as she fears nothing else. Perhaps you are the only thing she fears. But do keep in mind that fear can cause one to lash out. You must play this very carefully.
I want her to suffer.
Of course, in time. In time.
You see she motions the talons and they like look at her and look at you all and they start to spread around you all and draw. They don't point the bows at you, but they definitely get ready to shoot if she tells them to, as they just fan out around you and she's just standing there.
This is Supreme Commander Drakov. If there has been some breach of diplomatic protocol, I assure you it was unintentional.
Mm-hmm. You are the diplomat, yeah?
Yes, Brother Uriah Macabre, and I have pertinent information. I believe I know the secret to ending this plague.
Has your king, Aslan Rex, sent this spectre to torment me on the eve of battle?
No, I assure you, Aslan Rex wishes a friendship between our mighty nations.
Torment implies guilt. Why ever would you feel that way?
When you say that, she does draw her sword, and it's just down at her side. And she says, it is not possible.
Yet I'm here.
Takes them into custody. I will interview them later.
Are you sure you want to do that with your only person who could end this plague for you?
Tatiana's still in a rage.
Yeah, she is. She is. What would Tatiana like to do? As you see, as she says, take them into custody, you see they start to ready their bows, and her horseman is like, I'm sure it's simply a misunderstanding. Yeah, perhaps you could come with us and we will discuss these matters. You may keep your weapons. We must just all obey the will of Ladeska Drakov.
Keep your weapons down. Can I do like an intimidation?
Yeah, absolutely. You can roll with advantage because they all see that she's freaked out and nothing freaks her out.
Oh, it's a nat 20 on that roll.
An unearthly growl emanates out of Nahara, still in your dread form. And you see they all tense for a second, and it becomes clear to all of you, especially Desmond and Tatiana. These are hardened warriors. If she commanded them to run into a burning building, they would. And yet something in Nahara's words is still giving them pause. As you see, Herr Horseman and she has stopped a couple feet away, and he says, and he does kind of come a little closer to you, Uriah, and he says, "None may question the will of Ladeska Drakov. You must come, or
Yes.
I fear there will be bloodshed."
Yes, I am sure we can all sort this out if we just calmly proceed, and everything will be taken care of. We'll
Yeah, the healer from Darkheart. You see, they have destroyed the undead within our own city. They are here to help us. Yeah, you are all here to help in the defense of Lekar. Yeah.
Yes,
That
I'm
is,
sure.
of course, if you stand down.
Tatiana growls menacingly.
You see, Vladeska doesn't turn, and she says, "You may escort them as guests," and storms off.
Oh, I would like to
That's
try and
much
message
better.
Vladesca,
Yes,
please.
yes, absolutely. You absolutely can.
I just want to pop in and just say, help me. Who is she?
Give me persuasion.
I love persuasion. That is a 23.
Valentine, trying and enter her mind is like trying to dock a boat in the midst of a monsoon storm. It is a swirl of rage and unquestionably fear. You know this is a woman who solves her problems with violence and is not used to having to explain herself ever. But she has seen something that has frightened her, which is as alien a feeling as anything else. And for just a split second, give me a second roll. Give me perception.
Okay. For perception, that is a 16.
As you try and enter her mind, you feel yourself shut out like a gate is slammed in front of you. But what you do know is that moment where she met Nahara is when everything went wrong. Everything was fine before then. When the world was hers, Vladeska's. And the day they killed that angel, everything went wrong.
Do I think that she heard me and just won't establish the connection? Or did she not hear me?
You are certain. And there's not many minds that can resist yours. You know she heard you.
So,
And you know she essentially hung up the call.
got it. And what I said, I just want to make sure that it's a pleading of sort. Please help me.
Give me yet another perception check.
All right. Hey, that one is a 21.
You get the distinct impression that she understands you mean well, which is why she didn't kill you right now, for having the audacity to try and force your will on hers. I will also add with that perception, you don't think she showed you that on purpose. Like, you just got a glimpse of her thoughts as you essentially were attempting to dock and were cast back out again. And she storms off. And you think Horseman is like, is this way? Yes. No, Tatiana, please, calm. I understand that you all are upset right now. Perhaps if we were to come along peacefully, I could arrange an audience for you with the others. I know you were very interested in the fate of Jaeger and Katz and Eber and Unga, the primal soldiers. Perhaps you might break bread with them tonight on the eve of battle. Yeah? Yes?
At
Yes.
that, Tatiana's
How
gonna
has-
drop her axe, against the ground, still holding the hilt, and stop raging.
You've all been injured. Perhaps we could have the healer see to you, yeah?
How hospitable of you. But I'll keep my form of dread up as long
Yes.
as I can.
I've still just been dragging Fess.
Finn, she can get up now. Speaking of Finn,
Oh, yeah.
in the
Finn.
midst of all of this, your mind's been elsewhere, Finn.
My mind has been really trying to analyze this blood that is dripped down Valentine's arm and just is on my face. I probably look like someone got me in the face at this point.
Mm-hmm.
And I lick my lips, and I'm not quite myself as the rush of it hits me. And I actually tug Valentine and try to follow the blood up her arm.
Valentine, you very much feel her nose and lips just above your skin, kind of going up towards your massive wound this sword has left in you that should have killed anyone, and yet somehow you are still on your feet. And you recognize a familiar predatory look in her eyes as she's doing it.
I unarmed strike, bonk her in the forehead.
You feel this
Down.
yeah.
Ow.
Excuse me, Fen. I
What?
dragged you out of battle. You were dead.
Well, I'm already kind of dead.
When you say that again, the talons turn. They're like,
Metaphorically, of course. We speak metaphorically. We love metaphors in Dark Arts, similes,
Yes.
illusions, all these sort of things.
yes, you live every day as if you're already dead, and then you live with the brave. Yes.
Yes.
I shake myself off and pull my wings back in. Sorry.
On the ground.
Finn.
Look. Yes.
Oh no! Please say what you were going to say first.
It's like, sorry, Valentine. I wasn't. If I was in my right mind, I wouldn't have tried to do that. I appreciate what you did. Thank you.
It would be inconvenient for you to die.
It would.
Finn. She tastes magnificent.
Huh.
And you realize a couple of things. You being an expert in matters of blood, give me either perception or survival, whichever's higher.
They're the same, but I get an advantage on survival by default.
Okay.
Hopefully the dice won't betray me again. Look at the roll. I'm just not even gonna.
I
They were fours, both of them again.
again, double fours. You don't know why it's like this. You're not sure if it's the fact that she has died and come back, or if it's the fact that she comes from this strange other land. There is a vitality in her blood that you wonder if Tatiana or Desmond has the same quality. You've only ever fed on dwellers in the mists, whose blood, their very essence, is penetrated by hopelessness and dread that Valentine's blood doesn't have, and yet there's still something that you can't quite put your fingers on. Either way, you would definitely like to have it again.
I wipe off whatever blood is on my face, and I actually kind of tuck the bandana I'd been wearing previously into my pocket, and I just look at Valentine. Apologies again.
Apologies heard. She walks away.
Oh, this is gonna cost me, isn't it?
Herr Horstman, we would take your offer of a healer gladly. As you can see, some of us are quite grievously injured. I also need access to a laboratory of sorts. There are several herbs I must gather. I think I might have the key to solving this plague issue.
Yeah, but we must go. Vladeska Drakov has given her commandment and she has walked away. She does not like to be left waiting.
Oh, yes. We shouldn't keep her waiting.
And do you all go?
Ah.
You notice the talons fall in behind you this time, kind of in a ring. That is equal parts escort and equal part prod. Like they're used to, they intimidate by their presence, and they have their bows and arrows, but they're not pointing them at you or drawn, but it's very much like they're walking at a pace that makes you walk at a pace.
I intimidate back. My form of dread still up.
You see, as you all are walking through here, every time anyone sees Vladeska Drakov coming, they stop what they're doing and they like bow down to her. Like, I mean, they stop nailing and they stop and bow and everything, and like she ignores them completely as she's walking through. And there you could hear a pin drop everywhere she's going, walking through. And as she walks, guards open doors for her and things. Like, she doesn't even think about it as she walks back up towards the governor's mansion. After a couple of moments, you do see a couple of gray robed figures come towards you that have no discernible holy symbols on them. They all have necklaces that have that same red talon symbol, but they are not tattooed and painted like the others. And they're like, sorry, hang on. Allergies, apologies. They come out and they're like, you are in need of the healing, yeah? Are any of you infected by the zombie bites? Have you been bitten?
No. What is it that you would be using to heal? Just, is it something that would reverse effects of the undead spreading from the zombies?
It is the power of our will and belief that we are able to work miracles and healing and rebuke the undead when called upon. But they have been destroyed, I understand, yeah?
Yes, just a regular old patch up would be nice. No infection here.
You see they hold their hands up and all of you are healed for 16 points of damage. More than some of you needed, but they're like...
A lot more, but I'll take it.
Oh,
yeah.
Appreciate it.
Yep, and you hear the healing go off of them. However, Brother Uriah, you absolutely know that will not remove the poison.
Yes, I will share with them my insights, and so that they may begin preparing a cure as well.
As you start talking, like, they're like, oh yeah, and Horseman is like, yeah, you talk while we walk. I also am the Arcanist. I'm interested, but we must go.
Yes, of course.
You know, and you see they fall in, and as you're discussing with them, what sorts of things would Brother Uriah be suggesting here? Because you are absolutely correct in this, and I believe you even are prepared with the proper equipment for dealing with such matters.
Yes, for I was on my way to deal with the plague in Ilaluk when all of this began. Yes, I have various implements here. I've got this. I'll be wearing this later. But listen, King's foil. King's foil is always good. Some think it a weed, but no, it has other applications as well.
King's foil, yeah.
Yes. Wound wart. There will definitely need to be some sort of antiseptic quality to it as well. There's various herbs that can be applied for that. But tell me, you are priests, but in service of which deity?
They just sort of look at you for a moment and they say, our faith is in Falkovnia, in the good of our people.
Yes. Yes, well, it certainly seems efficacious, sir. My wounds are quite closed.
Yeah, our power comes from the land itself. Yeah. In the fervency of our belief, we are unwavering in our convictions.
Yes, yes, of course.
Does
Sounds
seem
like you don't
that
even need a
way.
deity to be a cult.
As you all are continuing to walk here as you're talking, you are back to the building that Desmond, Valentine, and Tatiana saw before, that is new to the rest of you all. Inside of the innermost ring of the city, I call it a ring, although it's more like concentric fortifications here. There is what is clearly the oldest part of this city, which is a palace, which is, while old, untouched. You can definitely see like how it's almost like the striations in the earth to calculate the passage of time. You can see how far the zombie incursion has gotten, and each time it's a little bit further, but never once has it made it here. These walls have held. And as you walk in, her throne room is more like a military commander's chamber. There is a large table with the map of Falkovnia, just almost exactly like the one you were given, strewn across. And there are X's and marks, and you can see figures where she's deployed troops. Tatiana and Desmond both give me perception checks.
Is a 16.
16. You are muted there, DJ.
19.
19. Tatiana, you are aware that she's a tactical genius. You got a pretty good view of the countryside as you were riding in, and she's got some strategies that you wouldn't have thought of, you know, especially using the terrain to her advantage, stationing troops here and not there. She's really put a lot of thought into this. Desmond, you can tell that she's got multiple contingencies, and they all will result in heavy casualties. And with a 19, you know she's trying, but there's only bad choices. That every time this happens, she loses a chunk of this city and has done her best to account for everything, but it just can't be done. And as you all, oh yes, Desmond.
Is there a way for me to like pass that info to the party without the guards knowing?
It'd be hard to talk to people without at least Horseman hearing, because he's kind of close to Uriah. But you could although yes, Valentine.
Well, I was gonna say, if you poke me, I you know, you've been with me long enough to know what I do.
I would say you all have been at this long enough that if you want to do a little bit of the telephone game, yes, Valentine, I would think you all might have a signal by now. You know,
I kind of like look over to Valentine and just like
tap on my Bluetooth.
And then I kind of tell her exactly what I just saw, that like they've been at this for a while. They're trying some of everything, but none of it's working, and they lose a chunk of the city every time these waves come. It's only a matter of time before the city no longer exists.
I pass the
You can pass
information.
that to the team.
Yeah, I'll pass the information around to everyone, but I pass it to Fen just a little more aggressively.
I would say you all can respond how you will. Assume Valentine is telephone gaming this to the best of your ability, that you've all been informed of this.
I pass
Oh,
back.
their city will no longer exist. Pity.
So do I slice her head off when she's not looking?
I'm not sure that would fix it.
Okay.
I think that there's already a plan to kill her, so if she gets killed and we aren't on the hook for it, that probably sounds easier.
You're right. Okay, just say word though.
Understood.
Like now? No.
No, that's not the word.
Okay.
I'll be much more specific, I promise.
You didn't say what the word was. I didn't know.
No, that's fair. It'll be very clear.
Okay.
I'll let you know. No subtlety.
Got it.
Do Finn or Uriah react to this update of the tactical situation in Lekar?
Oh, gods. Oh, Ezra's tears. Oh. All right. Well, we'll see what we can do.
Probably try and find the people we're looking for and get out of here before the entire city falls.
Yes, I'm very much of the leaving while we can and let fate decide what happens to this miserable city.
But there are innocents here. There are good people. There are children here.
Children are just future bad people.
Perhaps, but in the present, they are innocents.
All right, Uriah, what should we do?
Hey, that's not how that works.
Well,
yeah, you can't hear Uriah.
Sorry, I didn't know that this was a thing. I thought this was out loud.
Sorry.
No, we're assuming Valentine is
I'm
telephone
trying to pass
gaming.
as much
Right,
information
yeah.
as I can.
I
but-
see. Okay, then I shall stand by that. I don't care for these people.
Anything?
Valentine, could you tell everyone that there are innocents here and that there are children? And we met one the other day, and she was very nice, and it really put a human face on the whole situation. So
Certainly.
I don't want to abandon these people.
No problem. I'll pass it along. I do not pass it along.
Anything from Finn?
No, Fen actually feels really bad for what she did. And she's feeling a little stung from Valentine not accepting her apology. So
Finn-
she just kind of shrugs and it's like, okay.
Finn's in her feelings right now.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly what Valentine wanted.
Oh, okay. Glad to know that.
Tanya knows. Ben does not.
Do you know that though?
As you all, again, she walks in and you see one of the Talons that was already standing there just pulls her chair back. It's a heavy, high back wooden chair that looks pretty uncomfortable. And she sits down in it and she just draws a dagger and buries it in the table. And she says, I am not a woman who apologizes, for I am not a woman who has to explain myself. But perhaps we might begin our negotiations again.
Yes, very, very kind of you.
That might be wise, as you might become a woman who has to account for her actions.
I see the people of Darkhan are brave as well as impudent.
Yes. You must understand, of course, I am here on behalf of Aslan Rex. My associates are here to guide and guard, and perhaps it's best if we speak one-on-one without emotions running quite so high.
Yeah, I will have an audience with the diplomat. I understand that there were others who you were here looking for as well.
Yes, they are of interest to Aslan Rex's Kargat, no doubt you have heard, and we understand that they may have been taken into custody. We would consider it a great token of friendship among our mighty nations if we might take charge of them.
I suspected that they were spies.
Oh, they are not spies. They are wanted for questioning by the Kargat on an unrelated matter. We believe they fled into your country to escape Aslan's mighty wrath.
Produce the prisoners. Yeah, I had them scheduled for impalement in the morning when we offer our last prayers of solidarity on the eve of battle. Come, diplomat and healer as well. You are a man of many talents. The rest of you, see that they are fed, sees as they have is a drink if they wish, and medical attention I see has been attended to quite effectively. Sehr gut. I shall return. And she does stand up and walk, Uriah, clearly with the intent that you follow her.
Consider this an act of benevolence.
You see, she stops and she clenches both fists, but doesn't turn around. And continue.
Uriah just hurries after her, hoping to hurry up the exit before any other provocative one-liners can be uttered. Yes.
When Uriah and her walk away, the rest of you are at this table, and there are talons on all sides of you. And you see Bjorn Horseman is watching Uriah and Vladeska Drakov walk away, very much like doing the math in his head. Valentine, it's a face you especially know well, is someone that is calculating all the angles, but he looks very worried. Like,
have the prisoners been brought in?
they have not. When she gave the word, one of the talons walked out, but they have not been brought over.
So, soldiers, you prepare for battle today? So we drink tonight, yes? Flagons you could bring us?
You see, they all just sort of look at each other, and Horstman says, we must keep our wits clear, but yes, I will have it brought forth. Yeah, brings the vine!
You've never heard of drunken fighting? You're looser with your movements.
They all look at you like you just said they should wear their greaves on their head. They're like, this is an interesting way of doing things in Darkhan, yeah?
No, it's normal. It's everywhere. It's the way you loosen up. See, watch. And she's gonna do like some drunken kung fu moves.
After a couple of moments, they do bring out a barrel of wine and kind of lay it on its side and, you know, hammer the spigot into it. And they bring out mugs, which again, like everything here, it's the nicest thing here, but it's not nice. It's not like gilded silver. I mean, there's like wooden cups, metal, knives and spoons. They do bring out like rations and things that again are just a little better than what the talons were getting. One thing you've seen, Vladeska Drakov, she doesn't live ostentatiously. She lives in the biggest place, but she also lives in the most secure place. And so even what is nice for her is probably common noble in most other civilized places.
I wanted to see if they would be hospitable. I see. Yes, they will.
Meanwhile, Brother Uriah, she has walked into a nearby room where there are tapestries hanging on the wall. Give me a history check.
History, you say? I don't think I'm particularly great at that. But, you know, the dice might be with me.
It's true. The dice may be kind.
And so they were 19.
Brother Uriah, you see heraldry in seals from lands that you were taught of in school as a boy that have all fallen and no longer exist. These are relics of conquered lands, and there's lots of them hanging in here.
Very impressive record of your mighty victories, Supreme Commander Drakov.
She looks around, and just for a split second, you see a hint of pride on her face. And she says, yeah, well, I'm the only one capable of making the decisions required for the greater good. This proves my excellence and sets me apart, yeah. It is why I am divinely ordained to rule.
Yes, indeed. And As a ruler, Aslan Rex extends the courtesy of a bond of friendship between Falkovnia and Darkon.
She nods slowly and she says, Sehr gut. I would like this friendship with Darkon, at least perhaps not open aggression. I understand that I am a conqueror surrounded by conquerors, but I assure you I have no designs on your land. Once I have crushed my opposition here, I will claim my realm, ruling not as a conqueror, but as royalty.
Yes, I have no doubt at all. And as a gesture of Darkon's goodwill, I wish to share with you some information that I have gleaned regarding a possible cure for this plague which afflicts your mighty city of Lakar.
Yes. What have you learned, Herr Doctor?
After observing the infected, I believe that I could concoct a cure, one that would purge from the blood the foul taint of possible undead status. We would no longer have to worry about those infected rising from the grave as undead once they are slain.
This would be a supreme advantage, yeah. The undead, they come from the mist. I do not know how you were able to enter into Falkovnia. I assume it was the power of your Aslan Rex, because the mists themselves are teeming with the undead. To enter them is to die.
Oh, well, Aslan's power is mighty and far-reaching, and, of course, his allies would benefit from such power. I wonder, might a gesture of goodwill be forthcoming from you? Perhaps Herr Horstman has mentioned the 4 suspects that we wish to return to Darkon for questioning.
Yeah. All who live in my domain are my troops, and they exist to further my will. Those who deny me are traitors and bound for execution. If these interlopers that you have spoken of did not volunteer in the defense of Lakar tomorrow night, then yes, they would have been bound for execution. You are asking me to exert mercy on those who have betrayed me, and by extension have betrayed us all.
Oh, not mercy. I am asking you to show your potential ally, Aslan Rex, your favor by making a gift of their lives to him. You own their lives, that much is clear. Perhaps you might give them to Aslan.
In exchange for this cure, if the cure works.
I hope it does, because I myself had a close encounter with one of those things.
Yeah, I understand this. I assure you, Herr Doctor, were you to fall to the zombie infection, I will take it upon myself to see your head removed from your body rather than let you become one of the restless dead.
Very, very kind of you. Very kind, of course.
Might I impress upon you another request in the spirit of diplomacy?
What might that be?
I have assessed your party. I realize you have a number of capabilities, some tactical, some physical. Would you all assist us in the defense of Lakar tomorrow night? I believe you might help limit the casualties, and honestly, were you to depart in the mist by now, surely you would die, Aslan Rex or not.
I need to message Uriah. Can I hear this? Or they're having that one-on-one?
Nope, he's in another room.
Right.
Yep.
Well, speaking for myself, having met some of your citizens, Supreme Commander, I would not wish to leave them defenseless, and so what strength is within my arms shall be Lakar's. I cannot promise the services of my companions. I would not wish to speak for them, but I suspect some of them may feel the same.
She extends her hand to you and she says, I hope that you are able to impress upon them the wisdom fighting on behalf of Falkovnia, because otherwise, tomorrow morning, I will make an example of them. And now, here, inside the palace of Lekar, having gained the audience of Vladeska Drakov, indefinitely her interests in a certain reborn Nahara is a good place for us to stop, because as you are sitting outside, drinking, eating, pondering the events to come, Finn, as your mind continues to swim with the possibilities contained in Valentine's blood and what that might mean for you, you feel an unusual sensation as an outside presence comes upon you. Finn, as the night of Falkovnia drops around you and a sense of impending doom and desperation rolls through the people, you feel a familiar tingling in your spine, like when Jander Sunstar was reaching out to you. Unfortunately for you, the face you see is very different. You behold the countenance of Count Strahd von Zarovich.
My Lord von Zarovich, I didn't realize you even knew I existed.
I have found it both wise and convenient to take an interest in anyone that Sunstar approaches.
Well, you have my undivided attention. What may I do for you?
An attitude that does you credit.
Well, my sire did make sure I had manners.
Ah, yes, your sire, the one who cast you into this strange twilight existence, neither living nor dead. I am curious how you find it.
Most times it doesn't bother me, but recent travels and my new companions have made it quite the challenge, especially traveling with a cleric.
Brother Uriah, yes. Well, the less said about that, the better, I think.
As you wish.
Does it not trouble you to be thrust into the company of the living?
No, I got used to it among the drow, and Brother Uriah owes me a blood debt for the rest of his days. So at need, I can call upon it.
How do you think he will taste?
Probably more bitter than one would expect for such a quiet, pious man.
And the others?
Hmm.
You have no plans to slake your thirst?
Among my companions, for now, no, unless it becomes dire. But the only one that I might be tempted to take a bite out of may be Desmond, if only to taste his strength, his will.
Yes, the savage fury in his blood would be invigorating, don't you think?
True, it would be a treat, but he is one that I wouldn't drink from unwilling. If I had a great need and asked him, he might agree. But then again, he did become a Lycan without his own agreement to it, as he was but a child.
Choice is most important, don't you think?
Absolutely. I mean, if I had a choice, I would either fully join the ranks of the vampires or find a way to cure myself of being half in and half out of each world.
It is not pleasant to be between.
No.
I understand this. So, if such an offer were to be presented to you, you would accept?
I would think carefully on that offer because everything has a price, my good Baron.
Perhaps when you have learned the proper titles and addresses of those who rule, we will speak of this again. Baron, how dare you?
Forgive
It
me, my
is
lord.
well for you that I am in a magnanimous spirit this evening.
I am grateful. Forgive my slip of the tongue.
We'll see. In the meantime, think on this. What you seek is within your grasp. If what you desire is an end to this twilight existence, I am only too happy to oblige. And yes, of course, everything has a price.
Might I inquire as to what the price may be if I were to take you up on an offer, should it come to me?
It is always wise to ask the cost of that which we desire. I think perhaps when next we speak, and you have learned better manners, we shall discuss it in more detail.
And here, on the eve of battle, with a potentially life and unlife altering proposition before her, is a good place for us to stop.